last time.
All right, there we go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to podcast number 9. Today we have a special guest, Rebecca Binkowski.
You said it right.
A little bit of a mouthful
Good
there,
job.
but I managed to get it out. MacIntosh Books and Paper. It's been on the island since 1960.
Wow.
And an incredible history. So welcome, Rebecca. Great to have you.
Yay, thanks for
So-
coming.
So nice to be here with you guys. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the bookshop and how you ended up, how it came into your hands and how many owners. Tell us a little bit about the history of the book.
Sure. So the store has a really rich history. It's been here since 1960. One of, I think, the first 10 or 12 businesses on the island. Now we're in our 6th location, and I believe I'm the 5th or 6th owner. In 61 years, so it changes hands, roughly every decade or so.
Well, it's good to put a face to the shop. Obviously, Laurie always Laurie does a book review every week on the podcast, and we do recommend.
Every time I said you have to go shop at the local bookstores, go check out MacIntosh Books.
Yeah. Yep. So and one of the specialities of the bookshop is hard to come by local knowledge and local books that you wouldn't find in everyday places. And I understand you've brought a few of those with you to share with us.
I have.
Why don't you walk us through a couple of them
Sure.
that you
we'd
think
love
are
it.
really good?
So one of the things that I hear all the time, because we have quite a bit of repeat business, and people, of course, who've been coming to the shop since they were little, feel nostalgic about those books they remember buying there from Mac when they were kids. And 2 of the books that I get asked for all the time are the Lions Paw. This is a really wonderful edition, Scholastic Book Fair edition. This was out of print until recently, but you can now find it.
Can we get close up with that, Max?
Yeah, in a republished,
So cool.
beautiful hardcover edition that the families put out. And this book was written in the 40s. It's about 2 orphans and a young boy who's run away looking for his missing father. And they take off on a sailboat down the Caloosahatchee, and they end up on Sanibel. And the young boy, Ben, he believes if he can find a lucky lion's paw, that will help him find his dad.
Wow.
So this is a
Love
really
that.
special book. And
what
unusual.
age kids? Was this for teens or on up? Or
Oh gosh,
all?
I would say middle grade, 8
Okay.
to 12, but you wouldn't believe how many adults love to
Actually,
reread this.
Right.
And when was that written?
It was written in the 40s,
In the 40s. Very
cool.
cool.
in the
Very
late
cool.
40s, yeah.
Okay.
And another that's really wonderful and unique, this is a book that you can only find used, which I typically have copies in the store when I can locate them. But this is Snowy, the story of an egret. And it's written by Griffin Bancroft, who was, a writer, a newspaperman, a naturalist who was a friend of Bill MacIntosh's and ended up retiring here on Captiva, and wrote this book about a little egret who was born in the red mangroves on Captiva, and it's sort of about his life and what he learned. It's a coming-of-age story. It's written very much for, I would say, middle grade, also younger children, but great for adults, too.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. There's 2 books I wasn't aware of.
No, of all the books I've read about Sanibel Captiva, I've never seen these 2. So I'm excited to actually dive into those too.
They're wonderful books.
And speaking of that, we haven't actually said where you're located, your shop. I don't think. Have
No, we didn't.
No,
Well, it's
so
been in
tell
many
us.
places, but where is it now?
Yeah.
It's been in many places. It's now in the Village Shops, which is, Why Not has been there for 26 years. Traders 2.
Opposite
Maureen
the
Watson's
Island
Gallery.
Cow, you might know. Yeah.
And what's the actual address?
It's 2340 Periwinkle Way.
Okay, so it's right on Periwinkle. If you're coming up Periwinkle, it's on the right-hand side, closer to the Bailey's end of Periwinkle.
Exactly.
And where was it? Where was it originally? The first location?
Yeah, so originally in 1960, when the store opened, it was part of the Seahorse Shops on the east end of the island. The MacIntoshes were friends of the Galts, who opened the Seahorse Shop. And at the last minute, Mac said, this would be a great place to open a bookstore. And so it was in there's a garden in the center of that plaza, and he was in the A-frame building behind the garden. And we have a picture on our website. I think you have one too.
picture.
Right,
So
Max
here's-
will show the picture of
Yeah,
it.
and it was called Bill MacIntosh's Seahorse Bookshop.
Oh, okay.
And it was there for about a year and a half, 2 years until the Causeway opened, and then it moved down to the end of Bailey Road where the John R. Wood real estate office is right now.
Okay.
Here's one of the original articles you sent us where it's saying he's filling out large orders from the Seahorse Bookshop.
Right.
By William MacIntosh back
And then the
before it
Seahorse
was.
shops are still there, and that's where, well, it used to be Pinocchio's, but now it's Sanibel's Finest Ice Cream
Exactly.
is still there. And then there's a clothing store that recently used to be Seahorse. I forget the name of the clothing store, but it's recently changed hands. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is now.
Yeah,
that was
but-
literally in the last few weeks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, last month or so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the actual location is still there. Is the garden still
It is.
there?
It's less gardeny, I think, than it used to be, but it's still there. If you're inside the store, you can look out the window and you can sort of see
Okay.
it and look.
Because they
look into the
described it
building.
in the articles like a Japanese style garden. So I wonder if it's even Japanese style still. We'll have to go down and take a picture.
Go down and take a picture
Yeah.
for sure. You can't really see it unless you're, like I said, inside the store, and then you sort of, as you're walking to that back section, you can look out and see.
Okay.
And that's one of those stores, you look at it from the front and it just looks kind of small. And then you walk in and it's actually massive.
Yeah.
It's back a
It's
long
like a
way.
TARDIS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this is from, when was this store? This was the 70s, I think.
So that's the 70s. I'm not quite sure when, but that's the store that was, again, at the end of Bailey Road, where John R. Wood Real Estate is now, next to, I think it's the Chevron station now. I'm not sure what it was then. I know it was owned by Jim and Betty Anholt, and that's where the trolley tours started.
Gotcha.
Really?
And tell us
So
about the
right
trolley
next door.
tours. Do you
Well,
know much about that?
I don't know a lot
Right.
other than just that Betty and Jim were responsible for those, and
Yeah, I think they did some sort of tour around the island.
Exactly.
That did
Just
it was
talked about the
was it
history.
free and,
Right.
Yeah. Was it free or was
I
it
didn't know
paid
you had to
for?
pay. Yeah.
Okay.
When I
Yeah.
moved here, the trolley was still in existence. Not when I moved here. When I used to visit my aunt and uncle, the trolley was still running.
that was very much, I mean, pre-Chamber of Commerce, that was very much, where you stopped after you got off the ferry and you scheduled your tour and you got your map and your bird guide and gas if you needed it. And, that was sort of the launching point for your
Right.
vacation.
And speaking of Betty Anholt, she's written books about the island too.
She has Betty. Betty is an amazing woman. She's still at the library. You can pop in and say hi to her. And she's just rich with knowledge about the local history.
Right.
She's been immensely helpful for me piecing together Macintosh history. And she's written 2 books. She's written, and she's also collaborated on a couple books with
Right.
Charles LaBeouf. But Sanibel's story is a beautiful, I don't have a copy of it today, but you can find it at the Historical Village. They actually publish it, and it's a beautiful hardcover coffee table book with the complete history of Sanibel as well
Yeah.
as photographs.
Perfect. Yeah, we should have her on.
And what are some other books that she's written?
Sure. So she and Charles collaborated on a book called Protecting Sanibel Island Captiva, which is all about their conservation efforts. And then she also wrote a historical novel set on Sanibel
Oh, right.
a couple years ago, which is a wonderful book also.
Cool. And
Yeah.
do you have that one in your shop?
I do. And I'm so embarrassed, Betty. I don't remember the title.
Oh, that's all right. Max will find out, and
We'll
he'll
put
put it in the
the list
notes,
below.
and then obviously go to MacIntosh Books, and you can pick it up.
Yeah, I
It's
found
wonderful.
here's the A-frame photo. You can't see it far out, but that is the original owner, William MacIntosh, right there.
Right.
Stands right in front.
So
In
Yeah.
usual Sanibel attire.
Yeah.
Shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Where did he come from? Do you know how he ended up on the island?
So I hear lots of interesting stories about Mac, and again, if you know more than I do, please
Yeah, let us
share
know.
because a lot of it's been pieced together from my customers. So Mac, came to Sanibel by way of Ecuador, Quito, Ecuador, and in some of the newspaper articles, it talks about how he came across a story about Sanibel in one of the New York papers and was fascinated by it and moved here. After being, in Ecuador and sort of Sears and Roebuck catalog salesman, all sorts of odd things. I've also run across articles that talk about him being an encyclopedia salesman in Chicago.
Wow.
And then I've had many, many people tell me that Mac was one of the retired CIA folks who came to the islands at that time and decided to call Sanibel home.
So he's,
And
there's
it's
a bit of mystery behind Mac.
He's a mystery. And, it's clear he was very well connected because the year that we opened, Alan Drury won the Pulitzer for his book Advise and Consent, and he was one of the first authors Mac had for a book signing.
Okay, so he definitely had some kind of pull.
He had pull, and he shipped books. And in the first picture that you showed, he was shipping books all over the world to lots of diplomats and dignitaries that would send him their book list, and he'd research all those titles.
Oh wow, that's so cool!
And that was way before you could Google them, and you really needed an expert to sort of search out the books that you were looking for.
Yeah.
Here's a signing of Fletcher Nebel.
Yes.
So they obviously did this quite a bit.
Do you still have book signings now?
We do. We have lots of book signings now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I should say lots. We're coming back to life after COVID, but we've had several since the mask mandate's been lifted, and we've got lots planned for the fall.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
your new location, I think, is just perfect for your shop with the porch outside, and I think it's going to be serve
it's
you
got
well.
an outdoor seating area.
Yeah, and how you've decorated the inside, it's
Thank
super
you.
cute. They have a wonderful kids section too, back room that I think any kid would be delighted to visit when you're on vacation. Definitely come bring your family because there's something for everybody.
Definitely.
Thank you. Well, I think the biggest what do I want to say? The biggest inkling for the move was just the porch and also the collaboration between the other wonderful businesses.
Yeah.
And T2 has been a place where we've had a couple of author luncheons, and I just see a lot of wonderful things coming out of that relationship.
Which is T2 is the sister restaurant of Traders, which
Correct.
if you come to Sanibel, everybody must visit Traders because they have amazing food. And then their sister restaurant, T2, is in the Village Shopping Plaza.
Which a lot of people might not know about, which is, you should know about it because it's been there a couple of years, but definitely worth trying out for sure. It's a great restaurant. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. They have a new chef this season who's just doing remarkable things. I just sampled some things from their new menu yesterday, and they were really great.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You're going to be in trouble.
Keep me away. Keep me away.
Right. We're behind Island Pizza, which doesn't serve us well
and
either.
those guys are so good to us that it's bad.
Right, exactly.
Not really, guys. You're fantastic.
Besides the book signing, I saw you just put out something recently. But is it a yoga or meditation? Something you're doing?
Yes, we're doing meditation. We're going to start on Monday, July 6th, and we're going to do a weekly meditation. Each month it'll be completely free, but if you'd like to make a donation, we'll be collecting for a local organization. The first month will be the Children's Education Center.
Great. Where Max went to school. Yeah.
And we have a local, one of the wonderful things that came out of last year is I think so many interesting young people moved here. And Allie Gorton is a yoga teacher, and she'll be leading us in a meditation and a little bit of breath work, which I think is just great.
Wow. And you'll do that
awesome.
on the porch?
We'll do that either on the porch or inside the bookshop. And
Right. And do people have to bring anything, like a mat or
just
any
their
kind
yoga
of
mat.
Okay. And then
themselves.
what time are you doing that?
8:30 to 9:30.
8:30 and 9:30. Awesome. And can they find all this information on your website?
Yes, on our website or social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
And what are your handles? Tell us your website.
So our website is MacIntoshBooks.com. And
MacIntosh is MAC, correct?
correct, MAC. And then, MacIntoshBooks.com, so books plural. And I think at Macintosh Books 1 is our Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And Twitter.
Perfect. So everybody check that out.
Awesome.
you.
And then I see you've got a couple more
Yes.
books for us there, please.
Well, I just brought some kind of interesting things that are selling right now that are birds of the Gulf Coast you might have read about in the Island Sun a couple weeks ago. This has just popped up on the scene. It's just a wonderful bird guide. Lots of fantastic pictures. Jim Stevenson, fairly new to the scene. So I know a lot of people like to collect bird books. This is something new.
And definitely
cool.
something to do if you come to the islands, pick up your bird book and head out to Ding Darling.
Exactly.
And you'll be an expert.
Great time.
Yeah, exactly. With so many people moving to the area, this is a book I've recommended for years, A Land Remembered.
Right.
I'm sure you've
Great
seen
book.
this before.
Mm-hmm.
5 generations of the McIvy family, from, Cracker House in the Everglades trapping raccoons
Right.
to
becoming cattle hustler,
yeah,
rustlers.
Exactly. It's just a wonderful book about the settling of Florida, and I always recommend it to new residents and also just to people stopping by because
Right.
I think you really get an idea.
Absolutely. It
Of how
would be
Florida was
perfect, a
shaped.
beach book, when you're laying on the beach.
So
you can
easy
pick
to
it up,
read.
put it down, and just read it your whole visit.
Right. So easy to read. And then Sanibel Light is a book that's been around for a while, but it has a new edition.
Oh, Charles LaBeouf.
Charles
Yeah,
LaBeouf,
yeah.
who is really a treasure. He's in his late 80s now, but he's
Yeah.
lived most of his adult life here. He founded our sea turtle program, lived with his family in that house at the lighthouse for
Yeah.
many years while he worked for
Yeah.
U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the Refuge. And he is, very active on Facebook. Anyone who has questions about Sanibel, reach out to Charles. He's
Yeah.
We
He's a treasure
did a
trove.
we did a video about the lighthouse and
Did
the
you?
sister lighthouse, and a lot of the research came from his 2 books about the lighthouse. So,
Yeah. They're great.
yeah. So
He worked at MacIntosh until just a couple years ago.
Oh, he
on
did?
Sundays,
Really?
Oh, I didn't know
just-
that.
Just for fun. I think that carried over from, originally the Dowlings, and then when Susie Holly bought the store,
Oh, funny.
Charles was still there
He
for
came
Sundays.
with the property.
Yeah, and so Susie sort of joked when I was buying the store. She said, Charles comes with the store. And I said, that's
That's
great. I was
perfect.
counting
that's
on it.
awesome.
And I still, every time I see him, say, come on, Charles, tell me when you want to come back to work.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because he, besides those, he's written a fictional book about the
Yes.
Calusans, he's written a sea turtle book. Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
He's written so many books. And I think, with every book he says, I think this is the last book. And I know he's working on something now.
Oh, is he? Oh, very cool.
A lot of stories left
Yeah.
to tell.
Yeah.
For real.
And then I see a couple more, which is another.
Oh, this is just Gift from the Sea, which I'm sure you've talked about before. It's one of our best-selling books. Anne Murrah Lindbergh is rumored she wrote this while she was staying on Captiva.
Right, at Tween
And
Waters.
At Tween Waters, exactly. And it's a timeless book that this was given to me when I first moved here by a dear friend and mentor. And I just a book you reread every couple of years.
it's
And
like-
you always get something wonderful.
Right. You get it's just history not history, but just way of living your life, I think.
Exactly.
And
you-
how
like you
long,
said,
how long have
timeless.
you lived here?
I've lived here since 1995,
wow. Okay.
spring of 1995.
Longer than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were here in 99. So,
Yeah.
99. What brought you here?
I came here on vacation and stayed at a little condo on Point Santa with my best friend a couple years after school. And, I'd had grandparents here, Tampa and Marco Island. So I'd been to this area before, but never to Sanibel. And I can't explain it. We were sitting on the beach one day and I just said, this is where I feel like I'm meant to live. And I went back to Michigan, small town Michigan, and spent a couple months thinking, how can I get back to Sanibel? And at the end of March of the following year, I was here.
On your own? You came down on your own?
Came down with that same best friend, who
Right.
unfortunately about a year later, due to some family circumstances, had
She
to
wanted
go
to go
back.
back. Yeah.
But I was rooted. I had the bug. I had some great mentors, Jane Reeder Weaver. I'm sure you remember
Right.
Jane. And, along the way, I just kept finding people who said, strong women who said, you can do this. You can
Yeah.
stay here.
And you
can't
did,
you?
and here you are.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Wow. And then what prompted the purchase of the bookstore?
So always, when you're a young person on the island, you have multiple jobs.
Right.
So
What were your other jobs?
yeah, so I worked at South Seas for Jane for many years.
Okay.
At her glitter salon.
Oh, wow.
I was a cocktail waitress at the Comedy Club.
Okay.
I also worked at the Mexican restaurant, and oh my gosh, why can't I remember what it's called? It was the most popular hangout anyway. I worked there for a long time, where Doc Ford's
Right.
was.
Was.
And what else did I do? Oh, I worked. So Holly Smith and I
Oh, I know
worked
Holly,
for.
yeah.
Yeah, you know Holly. So Holly and I worked for Steve Beck, who owned Sanibel Island Bookshop.
Oh, that's right.
It
And then
was
she
near
ended
the
up
Comedy
taking
Club.
it over. Yeah.
Yep, And so then Holly bought the store, and I worked there for a little while, and then had kids and stayed at home for a few years, but then came back to the bookstore. And the Sanibel Island Bookshop was just around the corner from the Children's Center, where I dropped my littlest off to school. And I would work, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days as the kids got older.
Right.
Yeah. And as Holly transitioned to a boutique, I moved down to MacIntosh, and it was for sale at the time.
Really?
And so I just kept thinking about that. And eventually it became feasible for me to buy it. I think it was September of 2017.
Very
Fantastic.
cool. I love
Very
that.
cool.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Very cool. And hopefully
True
many, many
Sanibel
years
story.
to come.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, the key to having a business on the island that's, here for this long is, you really have to keep it simple, and you have to keep true to your roots. And I think what worked in 1960 still works today. We're a small store, we're highly specialized, and we really are involved with our customers.
And that's something you can't get with Amazon or anything like that. If you really want to
Totally.
get some advice on local books and all that type of thing,
Yeah.
then definitely keep shop locally.
And you also have gifts too.
Gifts
That's
too, and
super cute stationery I noticed yesterday, and just
yeah, all the things that keep people connected. We like to keep it simple, but we like to have things that really enrich people's lives.
That's cool. And I noticed you have a couple of items here, these historical items.
Yeah,
or-
these are great. I just these are things from my collection. This is a map that, or actually a brochure, excuse me, that we just talked out to be probably sometime between 64 and 67.
Wow, full color, which is
full
impressive
color.
for that
Insane.
day.
Yeah, put out by the Chamber of Commerce, and on the back you'll see it highlights our brand new 3.5 mile toll.
Oh,
Causeway,
Causeway, yeah.
Excuse me, Causeway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, toll bridge and toll bridge
Bridge
and
and
Causeway.
Causeway,
yeah.
awesome.
That is
Voice of the
So that's
Crazy.
kind of fun. This is a map that I'm not sure where it came from. To be honest, it doesn't
Yeah,
have
there's
any.
no information. We looked all over it. We
It
couldn't
doesn't.
find any.
But I really love it. I think.
I used that map when we first came here. When I first
Really?
started doing photography, that was the only map, and that was pretty.
It's similar, but these are the older hotels. There
oh,
was
they
one
are
similar.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they're okay.
Yeah,
I
that has
thought
like the
that was
Jolly
one.
Roger and all the
Oh,
hotels
gotcha. The
from
original
back.
one.
Yeah.
So Maureen Tesoro at the Sanibel Library sort of helped me. She thinks it's probably early 80s.
Okay, so it wasn't that one. Yeah.
But it actually has the location of MacIntosh Books.
It does down near the end of the causeway, along with Priscilla Murphy Real Estate right next door. Yeah, some interesting things. So
That
I'm
is so cool.
Now, if
And
you want
then
an up-to-date
Captiva's
version of this map, there's actually one on our website where you can get a list of every single resort, or you can actually fly past every single one with the mile marker series. If you look at those on YouTube or on the website,
Yeah.
you
Very
can fly
helpful.
past every single resort that's there, and
No.
obviously not there, and then
Right.
many, many more that have joined along its ranks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Very
so-
helpful.
I wanted to show this. So this is an ad from 1979 where MacIntosh Bookstore
And
is
what was it? $2.95.
95 cents for beachcombing on Sanibel,
Ah.
right next to an ad for a Sanibel and Captiva guidebook.
Yeah.
Which,
way.
yeah,
That's
adjacent to that, which is
I've actually read
now
that
come
book.
full circle.
The Enchanted Islands. I have that book in my collection.
Really?
It's a good book. Yeah.
Keep it. It's hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Really?
really good.
And then I saw you have one last. Did you have one last book?
Well, I did. I love this. This is quite hard to find, the story of the islands. This is something Priscilla Murphy handed out from her real estate office.
If you don't know who Priscilla Murphy is, she was the original realtor on the island.
Correct.
Before the causeway, she started selling plots of land, and I can imagine how much they were back then. If only we would have bought one from
Right.
Priscilla.
So
Right.
when is that book from?
So this, let's see. I don't think it's dated, to be honest.
But you can say pre-60s, obviously,
Yeah.
if it's before the
Yeah.
causeway.
I would say because she's talking about her main office being on Periwinkle, just off the causeway. So this was when she was next to MacIntosh. It's just got a great history, and I have a copy in the shop. I know Priscilla, Mari of Priscilla's, which just opened in the fall. Mari has a copy in her store too because
really?
Priscilla Murphy was her inspiration for
Right,
opening
for
her
new-
store.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very cool.
So that
Very
everybody
cool.
can come to your store and check it out.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, so make sure we'll list all the everything to connect you in the listings below.
Yeah.
Make sure you come in and see Rebecca, and you'll love the store.
Oh,
Have
it's
some
awesome.
lunch at T2 right next door.
Yeah, you can
And-
make a day of it because the bookstore, the restaurant, and super cute little boutiques now in the
Priscilla's is
plaza.
super nice.
Yeah,
Maureen Watson's Gallery,
Yeah.
Coco y Cabana.
Yeah,
It's a
some really
wonderful
cool
new
shops.
store.
And
you
it's
can get
not-
your hair done.
Get your hair done at Tribeca Salon.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick or Dom, they're just great.
Yeah.
So
you can
yeah,
make a whole day
definitely
of it.
check in there. It's probably not as it's probably not as well known as the other stops on the island. So make sure you look for it and check it out. It's not hard to find, but it's I did for some reason, I don't know why, but just
Right.
make sure you make a
Yeah.
point of stopping there.
And
So
so,
Ma-
what else do you do on your free time? We actually like to ask
Do you?
when you're not.
It's free time.
I know exactly.
I
you have-
read. I read a lot.
You do.
I'm a Rotarian, so I try to be involved with Rotary as much as I can. I have 2 kids.
Yeah. So
So
your
that
free time is not
Yeah.
is limited.
it's limited, but family reading and giving back.
Yeah.
And
That's
what,
great.
if you had one thing that you love to do on the island that you could share with somebody else, what would it be? Is there anything in particular? Or?
Oh, it's kayaking.
Okay.
I get this question a lot. People pop into the store and say, "What's the one thing you would do?" And I send them right over to Tarpon Bay Explorers.
Right.
and
That's a
say,
great
"Go
tip.
They
in
have
a
a
kayak
fantastic setup there. Yeah.
and get out on the water.
Right.
The water.
For
yeah.
sure, we'd second that. We're avid boaters ourselves, so Max too. So I think we'd definitely second that.
Yeah,
That's
you
a-
rent the kayak, and they have it's a trail called the Commodore Trail that's marked, so you're not going to get lost. I
and
don't
it's
think.
real Florida, like real Florida. I mean, there's tons of wildlife and everything.
And it's so easy. People say, "Oh, I've never kayaked before," but they make it really so easy for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Cool. Max, I understand you got some questions for us.
All right,
'cause
we've
this
got
is my
some trivia.
favorite part.
This is
I'm
the-
actually the king. I think the reigning
The king
champion.
of losing.
Okay.
Dad has
Okay.
never won any
Hey Max, let's not go
Episode.
there. We're going to have car questions only.
car questions only. All right, since we are on the topic of books,
Uh
we have a very famous author.
I'm out. I'm
from
leaving the
Sanibel,
room.
Randy Wayne White.
Oh yeah.
So I have some questions about Doc Ford.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is not fair because Rebecca works in
Oh.
a bookstore, and
Hey, no,
All right.
stop making excuses.
how much did you pay him, Rebecca? to make these
I'll be so
questions?
embarrassed if I don't win.
This one.
Big
all right.
prizes.
So, the first question: in what year was the first Doc Ford book written by Randy Wayne White?
Oh gosh. I should know this one because fun fact, Randy actually had his first book signing at MacIntosh Books.
really?
Did he really?
Okay.
That's so funny. I should have found a picture of that if it exists.
I don't think I have one.
Really?
Okay, I've got it.
You do?
You do?
Yeah, of course, and I'm on the money.
Yeah, you've only got a 60-year span to try to figure it out.
I do not know.
Do you want some help?
Yeah.
Oh,
I really
as if you know.
Okay.
As if you know.
this.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll go with you first, Rebecca.
What did you put, Rebecca?
I said 1994.
94,
I
Mom?
went 87.
87?
I know much. 2001.
Gosh.
That's not it.
I thought it was later
Mom
than you
actually
thought.
gets the point here. It was 1990.
Okay.
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 Yay.
1990. So you were the closest, Mom.
One for me.
10 years off. Not
Yeah,
bad.
10 years off. You were close, Dad.
Okay.
All right. This one may be hard. Dad, I think you got this one in the book, in your pocket. So, a former covert agent and assassin, Doc Ford now resides in Southwest Florida doing what profession? What is his profession in the books?
What is Doc Ford's profession?
Oh, I got it. Yep. Oh.
All right, Dad, when you're ready, you'll go first.
I can't wait
I
to
gotta
see
write
his
some
answer.
more.
That's a lot of writing.
That's a lot of writing.
What did you put?
What'd you get, Dad?
Fishing guide.
Fishing guide. That is not it.
I said the same thing.
That is not it.
I didn't.
I think I know. Can I have? We'll have round two
No.
after Rebecca goes.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, what do you have?
Marine biologist.
Ding, ding, ding. That's
Yeah.
the answer.
Man.
All right.
1-1.
Here we go.
This is the tiebreaker right here.
All right. This is, you either know this one or you don't.
Oh, gosh.
There's a possibility for 2 points here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't feel bad. I'm used to it.
To date, there are 26 Doc Ford novels. Name one. 2 points if you can name the very first one.
Oh gosh.
Max.
Dad, I need an answer.
Okay.
You better take this seriously.
Rebecca's gonna write all 26 probably.
Hey, no cheating.
Why can I not
One.
think of
Just-
I know.
Haven't you
And
read
I've
like 3 or 4 of them?
I have. And sometimes when your brain goes complete, can we
Oh,
have
excuses,
can I
excuses,
phone a
excuses.
friend?
Phone a friend would be good.
Yeah, do we need
You can't
lifelines?
come to Sanibel and not read a Randy
I
Wayne
know.
White.
I've never read one. I was talking to my grandpa before this, and he was like, "You need to read them."
Yes.
Yeah, he's read all of them.
Definitely.
He's reading one right now.
Right. I need to phone my dad and say.
Randy White, and we have some good mystery writers right now. Ron Bass
Right.
and Jennifer Schiff.
Okay.
Yeah, my 3 best-selling local mystery writers.
Dad, how many titles did you write down?
I had 7 books, but which one did you want?
Let's see. Okay,
I cannot think of a
Go ahead, Dad.
I've got Marty Crumble's Book of Insane Fishing Mysteries.
That is wrong.
Oh, seriously, I didn't.
Rebecca,
Sanibel Flats.
Sanibel Flats.
Oh, I
2
did know
points.
that. I knew that.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you.
With the win.
I feel like you guys really made that easy for me. Thank you.
I thought my mom would know at least one.
Yeah.
She said she's read.
Yeah,
some.
read
And I-
loads of them.
night. I just
not to be rude, but I knew my dad wouldn't get any.
Max, what makes you say that?
Nothing.
In her defense, Randy's titles are tough. I mean, 2 words. People come in and they're always like
Generic.
something
deep shadow,
nights
dark
and-
night,
Let's hope he doesn't
silence.
see this one.
I don't know which one I'm on.
Right.
Let's hope he doesn't see this one.
I know. Brandy, don't watch this one, please. How embarrassing.
All right. I think we've got it.
All right. Rebecca's the big
Awesome.
winner.
Rebecca, well done, well done, well done. I'm just here as a plant to make everyone else feel good.
Well,
So,
done.
Rebecca, any final words? Anything you'd like to share with everybody?
Final words.
Anything that you got coming up? Any exciting news? Anything to check out? Anything?
Yeah. So, I do have one exciting thing happening next month, July 10th. We're doing an author luncheon with Kristen Harmel, who's quite a popular New York Times bestselling historical fiction writer. We
wow.
still have a few spots left at our luncheon at Traders 2. It's $45 and it comes with the book and, of course, a great lunch and an
Wow, that's a
opportunity
great.
to
That's a
hang
great
out
deal.
with Kristen. And we also have paint parties that we've just started doing
Oh,
again
neat.
with Laura Ball from
the post office.
Yeah, from the post office. And, people know Laura. She paints all kinds of things. You can see her art
Coconuts.
at George and Wendy's.
Right.
But we're back to hosting a monthly paint party with Laura. They're $35 and they're so much fun. They last a couple of hours and
So
And
is
where
you
are
paint
those?
like the 16 by 20 canvas and she leads you through? Is
she
that what they
leads
do?
you right through it like you're 2 years old and you've never drawn a circle before, and you come away with something really beautiful
That you're proud to hang on your
really-
wall.
Yeah, that you can hang on your wall or gift to a friend. So
Well, she's
Are
a
those
great
in your
artist.
store
Very
or are those
fun.
at Traders?
those are in my store, the
In the
paint
store?
parties. Yeah,
Okay,
we limit
cool.
them to 8 people, and they're just so much fun.
And you don't have to bring anything.
Don't
You
have to bring
supplies
anything.
You supplies everything. Supply.
She brings it all. So we've got those. We just did our first one post-COVID last month, and we have one coming up.
What did
every
you
month in the
paint
summer.
last month?
So last month it was a beautiful sunset with some turtles crawling along the beach.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
neat.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's an amazing artist. And
She is.
yeah, she's really good. Awesome. Well, great to have you on the podcast.
Thank
Thanks very
you.
much for giving up your time.
Well, thank you.
Make sure you go and check out Rebecca's store in the MacIntosh.
You will not be
bookshop.
disappointed.
All the links will be in the description, so your
And,
website and everything.
Yeah, this has been episode 9. Thanks very much. I'm Nick.
I'm Lori.
This is Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca.
Max,
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much for joining us.
thank you.
So I'd just like to give a shout out to our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. We got Spoondrift Island Bowls, a great place for takeaway and to go.
Okay.
We also got GatorBites Tail and Ale, just off the island, just the other side of the causeway. You can get, obviously, eating gator. You can't beat that. And then we've also got Breakaway Vacations for all your vacation booking needs. And Best Western Hotel is a new supporter of the channel. They're on Fort Myers Beach, but They love the local information, so they're going to be subscribing with us. So yeah, thanks very much. Please get involved, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Nick.
I'm Lori.
I'm Max.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.